Welcome to Longyearbyen, the world's northernmost town. Here, gravity pulls a little differently, and humans are outnumbered by polar bears.
Imagine living in a place where the Arctic Ocean stretches toward the North Pole, where mountains rise dramatically from the frozen landscape, and where winter darkness can last for months.
Welcome to Longyearbyen, one of the most extraordinary settlements on Earth, and the world's northernmost town with a population of more than 1,000 people.
Located on the Svalbard archipelago, halfway between mainland Norway and the North Pole, Longyearbyen sits at around 78 degrees north latitude. Longyearbyen is a place where nature is not simply something you see. It controls almost every part of daily life. Here, the environment is always the boss. At first glance, Longyearbyen may look like a peaceful Arctic town. Colorful houses line the valley, snow-covered mountains surround the settlement, and reindeer can sometimes be spotted wandering nearby. But life in Longyearbyen is very different from life in an ordinary town. For several months of the year, the sun doesn't rise above the horizon at all.
This phenomenon is the Benight, Longyearbyen period of darkness. During the darkest weeks, the sun remains below the horizon even at midday.
But during polar night, something almost unbelievable happens. As spring approaches, daylight slowly returns. Eventually, the sun rises and doesn't set again for months.
For visitors, in Longyearbyen it can feel magical. For residents, however, adapting to extreme daylight and darkness is simply part of everyday life.
In Longyearbyen, temperatures can fall far below freezing. Powerful winds can sweep through the valleys, and heavy snow can make travel difficult.
This is the midnight sun, a period when Longyearbyen can experience sunlight 24 hours a day. Imagine looking out your window at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yet despite these conditions, Longyearbyen has schools, restaurants, hotels, shops, a university center, and a small airport connecting it with mainland Norway.
But there is another important fact about Longyear. Polar bears live in the surrounding wilderness. Svalbard is home to thousands of polar bears, and they are protected animals. Outside the settlement, people have to take the possibility of encountering one seriously. This is why visitors exploring the Longyearbyen wilderness are often advised to travel with experienced guides and appropriate safety equipment.
Inside the Longyearbyen town, life is surprisingly modern. People work in tourism, research, education, administration, and other industries.
Scientists arrive in Longyearbyen to study the Arctic. They monitor glaciers and the effects of global warming.
Longyearbyen is also home to one of the most famous facilities in the Arctic, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault.
Deep inside the Arctic permafrost, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault stands as humanity's ultimate insurance policy, storing millions of crop samples from across the world. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault. Its purpose is to help preserve plant diversity for the future, acting as a backup for the world's food supply. But perhaps the most fascinating thing about Longyearbyen, Phi, is the way people have adapted to living in such an extreme environment. In Longyearbyen, ordinary activities require extraordinary preparation. Here, survival is a daily routine. In Longyearbyen during winter, residents may use snowmobiles to travel across the frozen landscape. In summer, boats become an important way to explore the surrounding fjords. In Longyearbyen, even simple things, like walking outside during certain seasons, require awareness of the weather, terrain, and wildlife. Longyearbyen also has a fascinating relationship with death. Because of the extreme Arctic conditions and the frozen ground, traditional burial is not practical in the way it is in many other places. In Longyearbyen, bodies buried in the permanently frozen ground could remain preserved for a very long time.
In Longyearbyen, as a result, people who become seriously ill or are approaching the end of their lives are generally transported to mainland Norway when possible. This unusual reality has contributed to Longyearbyen's reputation as a place where people can be born, but where permanent burial is not considered practical. Surrounding Longyearbyen are enormous mountains. Glaciers, valleys, and Arctic wilderness.
During summer in Longyearbyen, the landscape comes alive. In winter, this region transforms into a frozen world. The region is illuminated by the northern lights.
Longyearbyen, the aurora borealis, is a great attraction. Curtains of green and purple dance across the dark sky.
Standing beneath those lights, surrounded by mountains and silence, gives you a sense of just how remote this place really is. Yet Longyearbyen is not frozen in the past.
Longyearbyen is also becoming an important center for Arctic research, and a place where scientists can observe changes happening to our planet. The Arctic is warming rapidly, and Svalbard is experiencing some of the effects particularly strongly. Glaciers are changing, sea ice is declining, and ecosystems are being affected. That makes Longyearbyen more than just a remote town. It has become a window into the future of our planet. So, what is it really like to live in the world's northernmost town? It means living through months of darkness. It means watching the northern lights above your home. It means sharing the landscape with polar bears. It means adapting to freezing temperatures and powerful weather. It is one of the most isolated environments on Earth. But above all, Longyearbyen reminds us how adaptable we can be. At the edge of the Arctic wilderness, people have created a community in a place where most of us would struggle simply to survive. And perhaps that is what makes Longyearbyen so fascinating.